Well, it's primary election night in South Carolina, and we have everything you need to know.
The polls are now closed as voters in South Carolina had their say on a number of state and federal races. One of the big races we were following, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham has won South Carolina's Republican Party outright, defeating 6 challengers and avoiding a runoff. The 58-year-old Graham had about 59% of the vote in early returns Tuesday, far more than what was needed to avoid a runoff. And voter turnout was pretty low for today's primary, just 12% statewide.
Yeah, we caught up with voters in the Lowcountry to see which races they cared about. Lowcountry Bureau Chief Larry Sproul joins us now to continue our primary coverage. Larry?
Kevin and Jennifer, several races got the attention of voters both statewide and locally, but the voters I talked to in Beaufort County say despite the low turnout at the polls, there were several topics they wanted to speak out about.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you today?
It's a steady pace of Beaufort voters casting their ballot Tuesday afternoon. Despite the full look at this precinct in Beaufort, overall voter turnout in the Lowcountry was low.
Percentages are different with precincts. We have 3 precincts here, so ours was about 5%, which is actually good for our precinct.
One fellow came in and said that he told some friends he was going to vote, and they said, oh, is it election day?
Poll managers in Beaufort and Bluffton say that's the common theme Tuesday afternoon. The primary election just did not get enough attention.
Which is not a national election, but it's a primary election, and it's kind of expected.
To me, there's nothing more important than you can do than to get out and vote.
Sue Partridge says voting is a privilege. There's no excuse for the low turnout.
I don't care who you vote for or what your feelings are, get out and exercise that right.
Partridge says she voted due to several important topics.
What's happening to our government, our VA, our soldiers coming back from overseas, education is and should be a top priority. If you don't get out and voice, whether it's right or wrong, you have no right to speak up.
And Kevin and Jennifer, some other races people were talking about was the state superintendent of education race and also the Tim Scott Senate race. Those are 2 hot topics. As we mentioned, Lindsey Graham, he won his race as well.
That's right. Thank you,
Sounds
Larry.
good. Thanks, Larry.
And Lindsey